Darling.
Something is burning. And this time, it's not just a building, it's everything they've been trying to protect. Episode 7 doesn't just raise the stakes, it tears them apart. Outlander Season 8, Episode 7. The story takes a darker and far more intense turn, where every decision made earlier begins to show its consequences. The tension that was slowly building now finally explodes, and no one is truly safe anymore. Jamie wakes up in the middle of the night with a deep sense that something is wrong. This isn't fear or imagination. It feels real. There's a weight in the air, something heavy and dangerous, as if a storm is about to hit. Claire can see it in his eyes. He's not the kind of man who panics without reason. When Jamie senses danger, it usually means trouble is already close. And that's exactly what makes this moment so powerful. For the first time in a while, Jamie doesn't seem fully in control. He has made strong decisions recently, especially giving land authority to the women instead of the men. It was bold, even risky, but it felt like the right move. However, Episode 7 starts to question whether that decision truly solved the problem, or just delayed something worse. Because the truth is, the men who betrayed Jamie are still there. They may have lost power, but they haven't lost their anger. And anger, when it grows quietly, becomes something much more dangerous. You can feel that something is shifting behind the scenes. There's silence, but it's not peaceful. It's the kind of silence that comes before chaos. Claire, as always, sees things differently. She believes in people, in second chances, in the idea that things can still be fixed. But even she can't ignore the signs anymore. There's a growing fear, not just for themselves, but for everyone on the ridge. Families, children, innocent people, they are all standing in the middle of something they don't fully understand. And then comes the moment that changes everything. A fire. Not just any fire, but one that feels targeted, intentional, and cruel. The kind of fire that sends a message. It's not about destruction alone, it's about fear. About showing power. About proving that no one is untouchable. As the flames rise, panic spreads quickly. And this is where the emotional weight of the episode really hits. Because this isn't just about property or loss, it's about who might be inside. Fergus and Marsali's world suddenly feels like it's collapsing. Everything they built, everything they fought for, is now in danger. And the worst part is the uncertainty. Not knowing who is safe and who isn't. This moment is not just shocking, it's heartbreaking. Because for Fergus, this isn't just another challenge. He has already faced so much. He has struggled, fought to prove himself, tried to build a life despite everything. And now, it feels like fate is testing him again in the cruelest way possible. Marsali, on the other hand, reacts with pure emotion. Fear, pain, and helplessness all hit at once. And when someone like her, who is usually strong and steady, starts to break, you know the situation is truly serious. The fire becomes more than just an event. It becomes a symbol of everything going wrong at once. And as the episode moves forward, one question starts to take over everything else. Was this an accident, or was it revenge? Because if this was planned, then it means something even bigger is coming. Something that Jamie may not be able to control this time. And that changes everything. The fire may have started the chaos, but what follows is even more dangerous, because now it's not just about survival, it's about trust, betrayal, and the truth finally coming out. As the aftermath of the fire unfolds, fear begins to spread across the ridge. People are no longer just worried, they are suspicious. Everyone starts looking at each other differently. The sense of unity that once held them together is now slowly breaking apart. And this is exactly what makes the situation so fragile. Because when trust disappears, even the smallest spark can cause destruction. Jamie understands this better than anyone. He knows that if he doesn't act carefully, things could spiral out of control. But at the same time, he's stuck in a difficult position. If he shows weakness, the same men who already betrayed him might see it as an opportunity. But if he becomes too harsh, he risks pushing even more people against him. This is where Jamie's leadership is truly tested. Not in battle, but in judgment. Claire, once again, becomes his voice of reason. She reminds him that fear can make people do terrible things, but it doesn't always mean they are beyond saving. However, even Claire can feel that something is different this time. This isn't just a misunderstanding or a small conflict. This feels deeper, more personal. And while all of this is happening, another storyline reaches a breaking point: William's. William's situation quickly turns from complicated to completely out of control. What started as emotional confusion now becomes a serious threat to his life. His connection with Amaranthus, which once felt like a chance at happiness, now turns into the very reason he's in danger. Because the truth about her has changed everything. When it's revealed that she had a role in Benjamin's supposed death, it completely shifts how we see her. This is no longer just a story of love or attraction. This is strategy, manipulation, and possibly survival. And the biggest question now is, was William just part of her plan? For William, this realization hits hard. Not just because of betrayal, but because of what it says about his own judgment. He believed in her. He trusted her. And now, that trust has put him in a position where he could lose everything. When Benjamin finds out the truth, his reaction is immediate and brutal. There is no calm discussion, no attempt to understand, only anger. Pure, uncontrolled anger. And in that moment, William becomes the target. His arrest changes everything. Now, it's no longer about feelings or relationships. It's about survival. William is trapped, surrounded by enemies, with no clear way out. And the worst part is, he can't even be sure who he can trust anymore. This is where Denzel steps in. Calm, intelligent, and quick-thinking, Denzel sees what others don't. He understands that waiting is not an option. If William stays, his fate is almost certain. So instead of trying to fight the situation directly, he comes up with something far more clever. A plan. A risky one, but possibly the only chance William has. The idea of faking his own death is extreme, but in a situation like this, it might be the only way to disappear completely. Because once people believe you're gone, they stop looking for you. But this plan comes with its own dangers. Because if anything goes wrong, there's no second chance. And at the center of all this is one painful truth. William is completely alone. No family. No allies he can fully trust. No clear path forward. Just one decision that could either save him or end everything. As the plan to fake William's death begins to take shape, the tension rises in a way that feels almost unbearable because nothing about this situation is stable anymore. Every step forward feels like walking deeper into a trap, and every decision carries the risk of permanent consequences. William knows this is not just about escaping arrest. It's about disappearing from a life that is already collapsing around him. The emotional weight of everything he has lost starts to hit harder than the danger itself. What hurts most is not only betrayal or fear, but the realization that the people he trusted most have become part of the reason he is now forced to vanish. Denzel moves carefully, understanding that one mistake could destroy everything. His plan is not built on power or force, but on timing and precision. In a world where everyone is watching, even the smallest error can expose the entire escape. And that is what makes this situation so intense, because nothing is guaranteed. Meanwhile, the consequences of earlier decisions are now fully unfolding across the ridge. Jamie's leadership is being tested in ways he did not fully anticipate. The fire has left behind more than damage, it has left suspicion. And suspicion spreads faster than truth ever can. People begin questioning what really happened. Was it an accident? Or was it retaliation for Jamie's punishment of the men who betrayed him? These questions don't have easy answers, and the uncertainty only deepens the divide between people who once stood together. Claire can see it clearly now. This is not just about one incident anymore. It is about a chain reaction. One decision leading to another, until everything becomes too unstable to control. She tries to keep perspective, reminding Jamie that fear will not solve fear. But even her words feel less powerful against the growing tension. Jamie, however, is no longer just dealing with leadership. He is dealing with pressure from all sides. If he reacts too strongly, he risks turning his own people against him. If he does nothing, he risks appearing weak. And in a situation like this, Weakness can be just as dangerous as open conflict. At the same time, William's fate takes another unexpected turn. The escape plan reaches its most critical point, where everything depends on how convincingly his death can be staged. There is no room for hesitation, no space for error. One wrong detail could expose the entire lie. And yet, even as the plan moves forward, there is a strange silence surrounding it, an emotional emptiness that cannot be ignored. Because faking death is not just a strategy. It is an ending, at least on paper. For William, it means leaving behind everything he knows, including the possibility of ever returning to the life he once imagined for himself. And that realization carries a quiet but powerful sadness beneath all the chaos. But the most intense moment of the episode doesn't come from strategy or planning. It comes from confrontation. Amaranthus, now fully exposed in the eyes of everyone involved, shows a side of herself that is far more unpredictable than before. Her emotions are no longer hidden. The control she once maintained begins to break, and what comes out is a mix of anger, fear, and desperation. William sees her differently now, not as someone he loved or trusted, but as someone shaped by choices he never fully understood. And in that moment, the illusion between them completely disappears. What remains is truth. Raw, uncomfortable, and irreversible. As emotions explode and decisions lock into place, the episode drives toward its final sense of collapse and escape. Nothing feels stable anymore. Every character is standing at a point of no return, where even survival comes at a cost. And just when it feels like things cannot get more intense, the story leaves one final question hanging in the air. After all this chaos, betrayal, and loss, who is truly safe when the smoke finally clears?